Boy, girl. For many people, gender is that simple. But gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation are anything but. Gender and sexuality is a spectrum that all of us fall on in unique ways. LGBTQ rights is one of the most controversial and reported social issues of our time. More than 9 million people in the United States alone identify as members of the LGBT community. But let's start at the beginning. What is LGBTQ? As most people know, LGBTQ is the dynamic umbrella term for the community of sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expressions that don't match the traditional views of male and female. The term stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender/transsexual, queer, and questioning, though LGBTQ is not limited to those examples. But what are the differences between sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression? Let's break that down. There are 3 terms we really want you to walk away from this video with: sexual orientation, gender expression, and gender identity. Sexual orientation is the range of people that you're attracted to. Some sexual orientations include, but are not limited to, straight, gay, and bisexual. Sexual orientation is not a choice, whether it be straight, gay, or otherwise. People who aren't straight are non-straight for the same reason straight people are straight. They just are. Gender identity and gender expression, however, are not quite the same concept. You might be thinking, I'm straight, so this LGBT gay stuff doesn't apply to me. Actually, it does. Everyone needs to know about sexual orientation, gender expression, and gender identity because everyone falls on the spectrum of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. Let's keep going over some terms. A person's sex is the social and legal status given to them at birth, being either male or female. Gender identity is someone's experience with their own gender. It's their own conception of themselves as either male, female, both, or neither. These are both totally separate from sexual orientation. Your sexual orientation could be towards males, but your gender identity can be male, female, or however you uniquely feel about your gender. Now, a lot of people get confused about gender expression and gender identity. While gender identity is not a choice, just like sexual orientation, gender expression is a choice. It's how we externally express our gender, and it is by definition the choice of how and with what characteristics we express ourselves. A straight male who dresses with traditionally masculine traits expresses his gender as male. A straight woman who dresses with traditionally masculine traits does not have a matching gender identity and gender expression. But that's just as valid. Your gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation do not have to line up in ways our society is commonly used to. Identifying as male, express as male, and being attracted to females is just a combination of sexual orientation, gender expression, and identity. Just like if you identify as a woman, you can be sexually attracted to men, but express your gender with masculine traits. We're going to switch gears here a bit. Now, although sexual orientation, gender expression, and gender identity are a spectrum, it's not always treated that way. For thousands of years, our society has been very comfortable and used to the idea of male and female, or in the terms we've been discussing, straight male expressing masculine and straight female expressing feminine. Because society has been used to these 2 combinations for so long, many people don't feel comfortable with or altogether hate people whose gender identities, expressions, and sexual orientations don't line up the same way. To speak simply, LGBTQ persons across the globe face an incredible amount of opposition and hatred in their communities. The stigma surrounding being gay, lesbian, transgender, or otherwise is prevalent in all parts of the world, and it makes it extremely difficult for LGBTQ persons to trust people enough to come out as not being straight. Regardless of your views, it's important to remember that sexual orientation and gender identity are not a choice. LGBTQ persons deserve your respect as much as anyone else because they simply are who they are. So what can we do to make LGBTQ persons feel more supported and comfortable in their community? Nothing. Or to be more accurate, don't treat LGBTQ persons differently than anyone else, because they aren't. Just as I might have brown hair and you might have black hair, you might be attracted to guys and identify as male, and I might be a transgender man attracted to girls. Being gay or being lesbian is not an identity, it's a trait. No one wants to be known as that gay guy any more than anyone wants to be known as that guy with blonde hair. That all being said, addressing someone who's transgender, transsexual, or identifies in some unique way you don't know much about can be very confusing. As a rule of thumb, always address someone how they wish to be addressed. If a person identifies as male or as female, or however they may, then address them that way. If you're not sure how to address someone, just ask. The fact that you're trying to be as respectful as possible will be appreciated far more than an incorrect guess. Although most LGBTQ people will gladly answer questions, there are some limits. Many people assume that just because someone is transsexual or transgender that it's okay to ask questions about their privates. It's not. In our research, we found that an overwhelming amount of trans people all complained that they felt uncomfortable when people asked them overly personal questions about their genitalia. Remember, LGBTQ persons are people just like anyone else. If you wouldn't want a stranger on the street to ask you what your privates look like, then don't ask a trans person.